G'day folks, how you going? I just thought I'd come in here first before the video starts and have a quick chat. This is a video I've been trying to put out for probably about a year and a half, 2 years, and kept getting put off for one reason or another, and then COVID sort of really buggered all that up, which turns out to be actually a pretty good thing, because I only recently found out that I knew somebody that went to school there in the late 1990s. So I've actually broken this video up into two parts. The first part, which will be the story of Norcia itself, and then the second part will be where we'll have a chat to this ex-student and find out what it was like to go to school in a country town in the late 1990s, and being a Catholic school as well. So it turns out it was quite an interesting conversation. So if you're into that sort of thing, then certainly look out for my video next week. We all had a great time putting this video together. We had a lot of laughs, and there's the usual bloopers, and people keep asking me about bloopers, so I've stuck the bloopers at the end of this video if you hang on that long. So anyway, without any further ado, let's get into the video. G'day folks, how you going? About an hour and a half's drive north of Perth is a little town that is completely privately owned, and it's the only monastic town in Australia. What's that mean? Well, stay tuned and we'll find out. Bloody amazing. So two Spanish Benedictine monks, a French Benedictine monk and a Irish religious school teacher come to Australia. Sounds like the start of a bad joke, doesn't it? But in fact that was the foundations of the town Norcia. Now the name came from the birthplace of Saint Benedict, which was in Norcia in Italy, or pronounced something like Norcia. So I guess this is the new Norcia, or New Norcia. After religion was banned in Spain in 1835, monks basically travelled all around the world. Now the four I mentioned, they came here to Australia, and they were sent out in the bush out here to go and find some local Aborigines and spread the word of God and teach them how to live a proper life. Apparently they've been doing it wrong for the last 40,000 years. Now originally the town was about 8 miles further north, but that didn't really work out all that well, and they decided down here by the river that'd be a better place to put it. Now life was pretty tough out here, and the four monks got on really well with the local Aborigines. Now the way I hear it, Dom Rosendo Salvado, he wanted to go back to Europe to try and raise some funds because he wanted to build some stuff here and improve the place and that. So he went off and he left the place to the other three to carry on doing what they were doing. Now one day the French monk, he was cleaning his gun and he accidentally shot the Irishman, and officially in despair he went back to France, but from what the rumours are. Anyway, when Salvado came back with all his fists of money, he was pretty happy, but he must have been quite shocked when he got here and found only one monk left. It is I, Salvado. I have returned with lots of money. Where is everybody? Ah, Salvador, a funnier thing happened. Hey, you had a job. Anyway, Salvador had this grand plan that he was going to educate the Aboriginal kids and civilise the community to the European way of life at the time. And he did it in a really good way, because on one of his many trips back to Europe to raise more funds, he actually died, and his body was brought back here to New Norcia, and it was interned in the abbey here. And out of complete respect for the fella, the local community had mourned his death for 3 days. Anyway, let's go and have a look around. This is the old Great Northern Highway. They've just recently built a bypass that goes around it, and I used to travel through this town when I was younger. My brother we used to go to a family farm up here, a couple of hours up the road, and we went through town here. My brother was telling me how it was a town that was owned by monks, and I used to think then that the monks used to line the roads or something when we used to drive through. It wasn't until I started doing this, coming through here with my job, that I really started to find out the story and the history of this place. Everything is owned by the monks. Nothing is done here without their approval. Now, I've been told that you have to be a practicing Catholic to get a job here, and you have to live in the town. When you no longer work here, then you can move out. Right from the beginning of the place, everything was planned out on what was going to go where. So if you forget about the road that runs through the middle for a second, if you look from the top, the early buildings are basically in the shape of a cross. After Salvador died, there was a bit of a change in the direction of the town. His predecessor, Father Torres, sold off land to pay for more work to be done. He designed and supervised the building of St Gertrude's Ladies' College and St Ildefonsus, the college for boys. He also added to the town with the building of the hostel, now the hotel, and encouraged the talented composer of religious music, Dom Stephen Moreno. Over there is the monastery where the monks live and pray, I think about 7 times a day. I was doing a tour once and we were allowed to go into the chapel to watch them. Took all of about maybe 20 minutes, then they headed back out to whatever they were doing before. The Abbey Church, which was built from 1855 to 1860. It's a pretty ordinary looking building that most people just pass by, but if you stop and take a look inside, you'll see it's pretty impressive in a non-impressive way. When you step through the door, you see the drawings on the wall that may at first seem like they're out of place. Yet they are considered to be some of the best religious drawings in Australia. And at the top is the magnificent pipe organ built in 1922 by Albert Muser from Munich. There are only 2 of his pipe organs left in the world, and one of them is right here. And the sound from it is just, well, absolutely amazing to hear. So the plan was that they were going to educate the local farming kids around here, and also the Aborigines from the stolen generation in that dark time in Australian history. 2 colleges were built, one down the road here for the girls, St Gertrude's in 1908, and behind me St Ildefonsus in 1913, with the boys here getting the best looking chapel. What is now the new Norcia Hotel was originally the hostel for the families to come and visit their kids. Later it was turned into a hotel to cater for tourists, where you could get a good meal and even stay overnight in the rooms. Unfortunately, just recently this has now been closed, but one day it would be nice to see it open again. But for me, one of the more in-your-face type buildings that you first see when you come in from Perth is the old convent. And it's now been turned into an information centre and art gallery. Now, long-time viewers will know that I'm not really an art person, but if you are, you will find some amazing pieces of art here in the art gallery. Art that you would expect to find in the Louvre or in other places around Europe, not out here in the middle of the West Australian wheatbelt. It is one of the largest religious art collections in Australia. Now, in the 1980s, 2 dopey thieves came out here and locked the attendant in the cupboard and went about stealing a lot of the art. About halfway through that, they discovered they couldn't fit them all in their car, so they started hacking them out of the frames. They did eventually catch them and got about 25 of the art back again, and a number of them were quite severely damaged. It was a costly and time-consuming restoration project done on them to bring them back again. And now they do hang back up where they were before, but I might add with a pretty beefed up security system. Now, out of respect for them, I am not going to go in there and show you any pictures from the inside. If you want to see what's there, you're just going to have to come here and have a look for yourself. So what's their source of income now? Well, tourism for one. There's thousands of tourists that come up here every year and have a look around through the art gallery, and they do a guided tour around town too, which is pretty interesting. The monks have their own bakery. Their breads are pretty popular. You can get some from the information centre or from the Roadhouse, and their nut breads you can get in David Jones and also in Harrods in London. Their buildings are available to be rented out. They can do conferences, school groups. I've actually brought many school kids up here to spend a week with the monks doing music. Monks are very big in the music side of things, and the students have spoken very high of the experience when we've headed back to Perth. There's an estimated $15 million worth of restoration work needed on the buildings around here. So if you're heading north out of Perth on the Great Northern Highway, why not stop in and have a look? Or even if you're looking for a day trip out of Perth, come up here and spend a few dollars and help them out. Now, I'm not a religious person, but I even found it interesting with the stories from here. So well worth coming out and having a look. Anyway, that's it for this one. So as usual, if you like what you saw, hit the thumbs up down the bottom down there, hit the subscribe button and the bell next to it, and you can also find us on Facebook and Instagram. Anyway, till next time, happy travels. Anyway.
Right.
I know. It was a word that came after I couldn't get. Anyway. Still can't find that word.
Over.
Over what?
Over the years.
Over the years. If you forget about the road through the middle in a minute.
In a minute? You give me warning so I can get it out of my head.
If you forget about the road in a minute, I want you to forget about it now, not in a minute. Nathan, talk quietly. Quietly. Made a new word.
Speaking in tongues. We can't take him into Norcia like this.
So two Spanish
monks. Great start.
Two Spanish Benedictine monks, a French Benedictine. Two Spanish Benedictine monks, a French Benedictine monk, and a religious Irish teacher. He was an Irish religious teacher, not a religious Irish teacher.
You just like the name.
So two Spanish Benedictine monks, a French Benedictine monk.
Amazing. I'm pretty sure you can't call them that. Socially unacceptable.
The monks have their own bakery. You can get that here at the Roadhouse, and that's not right either, is it? No.
Get the bakery at the Roadhouse?
Now, while life was pretty tough out here, the four monks actually got along with the local Aborigines really well. Now, the way I heard it, Dom Rosendo Salvado. I'm trying to remember what the first word was.
Wild things, but pretty
That's
tough.
it.